So we're underway here in the second half of action as North Toronto, leading this match 2-1, have possession as they kick off things to begin the second half of play. Tanai working the far flank. The ball knocked away from Adolfo, but out for a North Toronto throw. Quickly played into Vukas. Adolfo and Vukas exchange possession. Good ball played ahead for Barrow as he's taking on Shear. Barrow stretching out for possession, but Fell knocks it away from him. Pekarov unable to hold it in. It's out for a North Toronto throw. Quickly taken by Adolfo as he picks out the substitute, Aromatario. But Richmond Hill able to clear it away. The Richmond Hill substitute, Stewart tried to flick it on for Ezebra. That got broken up. Pagimitsis unable to connect on that slide tackle. He gets all player and no ball, so a free kick here for North Toronto. Juan Pablo Delgadillo, the player who is fouled, he stands over top the ball as he requests the 10 yards, and North Toronto put 5 red jerseys towards the penalty area to receive this cross as it's headed away by Pekarov. Richmond Hill cleared up the pitch where Tanai takes possession as he plays it back to his keeper, Patricio Heppelman. Heppelman looking for an option. He uses Tanai. Time and space in front of him. Tanai just able to hold possession for North Toronto. Delgadillo. Macarone, who's got the go-ahead goal for North Toronto. Nice ball through to Heppelman. He picks out Barrow, running in, and he just touches that wide to the far post as Dequan Barrow nearly had his second of the match. Well, they're defending a little too loose on a skilled player like Barrow as he split the D rather easily and then just unable to direct the shot on target. Stewart up for the ball. He heads that one out. So it'll be a North Toronto throw. Quickly taken. Pekarov, and it's off of Fuller, out for another North Toronto throw. Aromatrio tries to play it in, but it's through Adolfo over to Tanai. Intended ahead for Barrow. That's headed away by Michael Hanley. Stratton Lee back to his keeper, who got closed down quickly by Barrow, and Ursu did well to keep it away from the threatening striker. Heppelman, he tries to cross it for Barrow, and his touch just over top the bar. It would not have counted, though, as Dequan Barrow called offside. But it's been all North Toronto here in the second half as they continue to press for a little bit insurance as they lead this match 2-1. Nice job by Fuller to head it on, but off his line comes Heppelman to clear it out as it's controlled by Aromatrio. He tries to chip it through for Pablo Heppelman. He's clearing on goal, but a heavy first touch brings it out wide, and then his cross back in, easily secured by Ursu. Let's take an opportunity here to acknowledge the fantastic contributions of Holland Bloorview as a foul committed against Richmond Hill's Fuller. As experts in the field of youth concussion, Holland Bloorview Kids Rehabilitation Hospital have formed a collaboration with Ontario Soccer. The partnership will improve concussion awareness and education to ensure the improved safety of youth soccer players across the province. Ball played ahead, intended for Stewart. Pagimitsis can't come up with it. Fell with a good challenge against Aromatrio, but then it tracks away from Jaden Henley and out for a North Toronto throw-in. Delgadillo, Santos, Aromatrio, he got stepped into by Shear, and then it's knocked out by Delgadillo. Richmond Hill getting set to make a substitution here as with an injury, Michael Hanley will be replaced by Albion Codelli. So Michael Hanley gave it a good go after getting that stinger towards the end of the first half. He played about 5.5 minutes here in the second, but with a bit of a visible pull, he heads out of the match to get some treatment. Barrow, back heel flick. It's headed down by the substitute Codelli back to his keeper, Ursu. Shear receives the ball from Ursu. Looking for an option up the near flank. Ezebra, he's challenged, closed down, but it's knocked out for a Richmond Hill throw. Jaden Hanley. Ball over top of Ezebra. It's controlled by Aromatrio as he plays it to the near touchline for Santos. Santos back to Tripoldi. Into the middle for Macarone. Out wide, Tanai with possession. Looks for a ball up the pitch intended for Barrow, but Ursu caught off his line. Barrow did well to use those long legs to stretch out and get a touch past the keeper, but he couldn't catch up to it before it went across the goal line. Ursu's goal kick, headed on by Jaden Hanley. Pagimitsis wins the ball for Richmond Hill. Plays it ahead for Stewart. Russell Stewart. Ezebra tries to dribble around the keeper. Heppelman caught off his line. Stewart crosses across the face of goal, but no one there in a white jersey to knock it in the empty net. Tense moments for the North Toronto backline, but they escape without being punished. As Ezebra, with some fancy footwork, had Heppelman caught, but couldn't quite bury it. Shear crosses into the penalty area. Heppelman off his line to collect. And then a quick punt down the field as he tries to send Barrow on a run. Defended well by Codelli as it's out for a Richmond Hill throw. Fell. Pekarov, taken away by Adolfo. Vukas. Heppelman, that's Pablo Heppelman, plays it in for Barrow, but he's offside, and that'll put an end to that chance for North Toronto. Richmond Hill building up from the back line. David Fell plays it back to Albion Codelli. He switches it to the near flank for Jaden Henley. Ezebra tackled well by Tripoldi. It's knocked out for a throw. Henley, long toss out of the range of Ezebra. Santos. Teams battling for possession. Nice job by Santos to keep it in along the near flank. Burning up the near sideline. Shear has to play it out. Delgadillo making the pass over to Santos as he works his way around Pagimitsis, and then it's cleared high in the air by Shear. Possession retained as it's Aromatrio who still has it at his feet, lays it off to Heppelman, gets the pass back, but Anthony Aromatrio gets called offside. So a nice job by the Richmond Hill backline to step up and draw Aromatrio offside as Ursu gets set to take the free kick. Ezebra able to hold it in play. Nearly drew it back from Heppelman. It's out for a Richmond Hill throw. North Toronto get a throw here. As Barrow has it off his foot, out for a Richmond Hill throw. Fuller. Ezebra can't get to it. Barrow with a flick on, but it'll be controlled by Cadelli. He goes back to his keeper, Ursu. Quickly plays it out back to Cadelli. Fuller with the dummy. It's controlled by Barrow as he plays it back for Tanai. Tanai taking the time and space in front of him. Flicks it ahead for Barrow. Closing down was Hempelman. But it's Fuller with possession for Richmond Hill. Foul committed on the late challenge by Santos, as it was Jaden Hanley that was fouled. Shear. Long ball into the penalty area as it's controlled by the keeper, Patricio Hempelman. Tanai. Adolfo into the middle for Vukas. He plays it up the line, but no one in a red jersey making the run. It'll be controlled by the Richmond Hill keeper, Ursu. Cadelli. Fuller tries to dribble through a couple of defenders, but a foul committed by Vukas, so a free kick here for Richmond Hill. Taken short to Fell. Check that was Pekarov. As now Fell receives the pass. He goes back to Cadelli. Picks out Hanley, who got it to Ezebra. Shoulder-to-shoulder challenge with Delgadillo. And it's North Toronto that come away with possession. Macarone plays it up the pitch, gives it away to Shear, as Cadelli, in turn, gives it back to Tanai. Appeals for a handball, but nothing doing, as Tanai plays it out wide to Adolfo. Adolfo tries to play it back in. It's broken up, but Vukas with possession back to Tanai. Barrow into the middle for Aromatrio. This time it's taken away from him, as Macarone tries to keep possession with North Toronto. It's secured now by Stratton Lee for Richmond Hill, as Fuller tried to draw it out wide, but he lost it to the sideline, and it's out for a throw-in. 59th minute of play as Stratton Lee steps up and knocks it out. And it's Adolfo to take the throw for North Toronto. Tosses up the line for Barrow as he goes one-on-one with Stratton Lee. Tries to draw past a couple of defenders. Shear comes in and knocks it away for a corner kick. So once again, Dequan Barrow causing all sorts of challenges for that Richmond Hill backline. As North Toronto are in a corner, they've got a short option in Hempelman. Santos shows no interest initially. Crosses in, but it's away from Barrow, controlled by Delgadillo. Tries to draw to his left foot, gets around the defenders. Oh, what a goal! Brilliant play as Juan Pablo Delgadillo makes it 3-1 for North Toronto. As he dribbled around two defenders, opened up the lane, and then buried it past the helpless keeper. And Delgadillo buries it in the 60th minute to make it 3-1. 3-1. And an opportunity for us to remind you that Sports Engine is the official technology partner of Ontario Soccer and the leading provider of sport life management tools for youth and amateur sports. Check out sportsengine.com to see how they can help keep your club running in stride on and off the pitch this season. Well, a brilliant play by Juan Pablo Delgadillo as he picked up the loose ball from the corner, dribbled his way in past two defenders, and one-on-one with the keeper. He made no mistake to give North Toronto that bit of insurance they've been looking for as they now have a 3-1 lead. You're tuned in to the Under-17 Boys OPDL Charity Shield Final as North Toronto with a 3-1 lead. We're coming to you live from the Ontario Soccer Centre Fieldhouse as Richmond Hill started this game up 1-0, but since they've watched North Toronto scored 3 unanswered goals. And it all sort of stems back to a long injury break in the first half where North Toronto came out of that break looking like a completely different team. Richmond Hill move it around through Stretton Lee. He plays it back for Cadelli. Stretton Lee heads it over to Fuller. Fuller, he gets tackled and loses possession to Delgadillo as he looks for a ball through to Barrow, challenging the defender Shear, and it's secured by the keeper Ursu. Oh, tough break for Ursu as his drop kick ends up hitting one of the stanchions up top, and that'll result in a drop ball. Tough challenge here for the keepers to keep those punt clearances low enough that it avoids any of the obstructions from the ceiling up top. Vukas, his ball well defended by Jaden Hanley as he stepped up and knocked it away. Aromatrio, he got knocked down by Fell, and that'll be a free kick for North Toronto. Delgadillo, Santos, Tripoldi, gets around the first would-be defender, dribbles through a couple more players, chips ahead for Hempelman. Look at this! Hempelman's shot just goes wide. But great creativity from North Toronto on the combo of Anthony Aromatrio and Pablo Hempelman. Richmond Hill getting set to make a substitution as Stefan D'Ambrosio will come into this match replacing David Fell. 64th minute of play as Richmond Hill bring a player off the bench to try and make a impact here as they trail by 2. Macarone gives it away as it's picked up by Ezebra. Well tackled by Delgadillo, and then Santos steps in to take it away. Ezebra tries to chase him down. Santos plays it ahead, intended for Hempelman, but that's broken up by Stretton Lee. Fuller, he can't shield it away from Adolfo. Adolfo turns it out as they try to work their way back in the middle through Vukas. Barrow tracks it to the corner as he's defended by Closely. He's tripped up, nothing doing. It's out for a goal kick as defensively that was Jaden Hanley on Dequan Barrow. Richmond Hill getting set to bring a couple more players into the match as Pagimitsis plays it ahead for Stewart. Stewart, he gets hauled down. That's got to be a caution as Vukas gets shown the yellow card in the 65th minute. So a free kick here for Richmond Hill, but first they'll make the substitution as Jamal Ezebra comes out of the match. A bit of a surprise substitution here, as Ezebra has been really the catalyst on offense for Richmond Hill, but he is taken out, and it'll be Matthew Barron coming in to replace him. So striker for striker. We'll see what this leads to for Richmond Hill as Stewart plays it in from the free kick. Controlled as it was Barron who tried to lay it over to Fuller. Now it's broken up. As Santos, his ball got picked off. Hard challenge on the back of Barrow. Nothing doing in the eyes of the official as Hempelman draws it out wide for Adolfo. Adolfo back intended for Hempelman. That's broken up. As Barron picks up possession for Richmond Hill. Pagimitsis plays it out wide as Stewart. He's knocked off the ball by the speedy Adolfo as he draws it over to the sideline to keep it away from the Richmond Hill defenders. It's off of Pagimitsis and out for a North Toronto throw. Tripoldi, check that, that's Tanai. Now he plays it to Tripoldi as he takes the time and space in front of him. Closed down by Fuller. Gets around Pekarov. Nice job to dribble through Shear, taking on Cadelli, but a brilliantly timed tackle by Albion Cadelli took it away. Delgadillo. Macarone tried to pick out Amatario, but that's broken up and out for a North Toronto throw. Vukas. Back to Macarone, who goes out wide to Tanai. Tanai, good serviceable ball as Barrow runs onto it. Tracks it to the near corner, draws it back, looking for a crossing option. Tries to play to the far post, but that's out for a goal kick. 68th minute of action. North Toronto leading 3-1 over Richmond Hill here in the Under-17 Boys OPDL Charity Shield Final. Santos battling against his numerical counterpart in Barron. Barron comes up with possession, but then his back heel out of play. They throw it into Tripoldi, who plays it to Delgadillo. Santos, Tripoldi, picks out Romatrio in the middle of the pitch as he plays it back to Tripoldi. Touched ahead for Delgadillo. Tries to pick out Barrow. That's broken up by Shear. Turned away by D'Ambrosio. Santos. Romatrio. Tripoldi. Delgadillo. Nice dribbling by Delgadillo to draw it away from Fuller and then pick out Adolfo along the far flank. Nice turn by Adolfo as he gets around Stratton Lee. Stratton Lee tracks back to close him down as the co-captain for Richmond Hill gets turned inside out. The cross picked off by the keeper, Ursu. Ursu's long ball up the pitch. It'll be headed back to the North Toronto keeper from Tanai and easily controlled by Patricio Heppelman. Macarone sends Barrow for a run as he comes up with possession. Jaden Hanley defending. Barrow turns him around. Good save by the keeper, Ursu, as he took that one at point blank range and takes a second to catch his breath. A big save with this team down by 2. That was an important save to keep them in it. They can ill afford to give up another goal here. Barrow chasing down the keeper. It's picked up by Aeromatrio. Gets around the first defender. Passes over to Pablo Hebelman, whose shot gets blocked. As Vukis goes up for it, but it's controlled by Pagimitsis. Barrow keeps it in along the near sideline, challenged by Santos, knocked off the ball, and it's Santos who comes away with it. Well, a reminder that today's OPDL Charity Shield action is fueled by Gatorade, the official sports fuel of the OPDL. Rehydrate, replenish, and refuel with Gatorade. Delgadillo can't track the loose ball. It's picked up by Fuller. Great through ball, but coming off the line is Hempelman to ensure that Stewart never gets a touch to it. That was a great ball intended for Stewart, and now Stewart picks up possession for Richmond Hill. D'Ambrosio back to Cadelli. As Hanley let it go, it's picked up by Barron. He plays it ahead for Hanley, making the overlap. Taking on Santos, he gives it away to the North Toronto player, and it's out for a goal kick. Great play by Santos to knock it off of Hanley, out for the goal kick. North Toronto making a substitution as it'll be Christian Adolfo coming out of the match, and he'll be replaced by Daniel Casa. Hempelman takes the goal kick short. He plays it out to Tanai. As with space in front of him, he'll just hold possession. Drawing it back for Macarone. He touches for Tripoldi. Richmond Hill stepping up. That was Cadelli making the play. Tripoldi. He switches it up out to Tanai. He goes back to his keeper. He was being closed down by Fuller. Tripoldi. Back to Hempelman. As he plays it out wide to Tanai. Richmond Hill just looking a little bit gassed at this point. It's going to be a tough final 18 minutes of the match for them to make a comeback. As a good long ball played ahead for Barrow. Taking on Shear, gets around the defender, draws the right-footed shot, and it's over top the bar, out for a goal kick. Richmond Hill making a substitution. Trayvon Fuller will come out of the match, and he'll be replaced by Nathan Pledwell. So Fuller, one of those players that was looking like there wasn't much left in the tank. He gets out for a quick respite, and Pledwell comes in to replace him. Amatario plays it ahead, intended for Barrow. He's all over the back of the defender, Hanley, and that'll be a free kick for Richmond Hill. Hanley receives the free kick from Shear. Carries up the near flank before touching into the middle for Pledwell. Pledwell being defended by Delgadillo. Plays ahead for Stewart. He's got the return option in Pledwell, but the pass not quite crisp enough, and it's controlled by the North Toronto keeper, Patricio Hempelman. Hempelman will drop it to his feet and play a right-footed ball out to the half line where it's headed down by Stratton Lee. Taken by Tanai. With space in front of him, chips ahead, and Stratton Lee plays it back to his keeper, but that's out for a corner kick. And that's the lack of execution that's hurt Richmond Hill here this morning. 75th minute of action. North Toronto with a 3-1 lead over Richmond Hill. Not sure what the issue for the referee was, but he was off the pitch there for a few moments, which is why the AR1 stepped in to prevent North Toronto from proceeding. There's the corner from Santos as Barrow went up for the header but commits the foul, and it'll be a free kick for Richmond Hill. And we're going to get a substitution. Well, no, they'll miss this opportunity. They'll have to wait for the next one. As Henley's ball gets picked off by Macarone. Amatario, his touch out for a throw. And now Richmond Hill will get the substitution. Jermaine Stratton-Lee comes out of the match. He'll be replaced by Victor Romig. So Romig draws into the match for the first time this morning as a long throw from Henley, controlled only for a moment by Barrow, and then off the stanchion it'll be restarted with a drop ball. Santos wins the drop ball ahead for North Toronto as they move the ball around through the midfield as Santos touches ahead for Hempelman. Pablo Hempelman into the middle for Vukas. Over to Tanai. Tripoldi. Vukas. Tanai. Macarone. Tripoldi. Touched ahead for Hempelman. Dribbles around the first challenge. Touch through for Santos. He's onside. Draws a left-footed strike. Oh, what a beautiful finish! Justin Alexander Santos in the 78th minute. And it's 4-1 North Toronto. What a tremendous goal by Justin Alexander Santos as he drew it to his left foot. And a screamer of a shot past the keeper. No chance for Ursu on that strike. And it's all North Toronto now as they lead this Charity Shield final match 4-1. Well, they were your 2019 Under-17 Boys OPDL League champions. Excuse me, and they've got a 4-1 lead here in the Charity Shield final over Richmond Hill. What a great performance by North Toronto. Four unanswered goals after Richmond Hill took a 1-0 lead in the 30th minute. North Toronto would respond with the equalizer just 5 minutes later in the 35th when Dequan Barrow found the back of the net. They would push ahead in the 41st minute with a goal off a corner kick by Thomas Macarone. And then goals in the 60th minute and the 78th have increased the lead to 4-1 as Juan Pablo Delgadillo and Justin Alexander Santos have increased the lead for North Toronto. Richmond Hill making a substitution there as Paji Mitsis comes out of the match and Rohan Henry comes in. That's Rohan Henry Jr. as that save from Ursu Off the kick from Santos. His clearance, he lost his footing, so Aramatrio comes up with it. Plays it in for Vukas. Back to Tripoldi. As it's switched out wide to Tanai. 81st minute of action. Tanai draws it over to Vukas. Closed down by Stewart. And it's, well, it was Pekarov with it, but it bounces around, and now it's back to the keeper, Ursu. He looks for a option up the pitch. It's headed down by Vukas and controlled by Tripoldi. He goes back to his keeper, Hempelman, out to Tripoldi, into the middle for Macarone. His clearance picked off by Cadelli. As Pablo Hempelman plays it through for Barrow, but this time Declan Barrow well offside, and a free kick to come for Richmond Hill. Well, we've got two more great matches on tap here today in the OPDL Charity Shield competition. As coming off his line and using his head to make the clearance, nice goalkeeping by Pablo Hempelman. Patricio Hempelman. As Richmond Hill applying some pressure, North Toronto have to go back to the keeper, Hempelman. So, up next on the schedule at 12 noon in the under 15 boys division, we've got Woodbridge taking on Richmond Hill as Santos breaks in, but off his line, Ursu comes out to collect the ball. And then at 3 p.m. today in the under 14 boys division, Richmond Hill will take on Woodbridge. So, a busy day here for the Richmond Hill club, as they'll hope for a better fate in the two matches later today than what they've seen this morning. And the Woodbridge Strikers, of course, will be joining them for those two matches. So it's a Richmond Hill Woodbridge derby this afternoon in Charity Shield competition. Here in the 83rd minute of action, North Toronto leading Richmond Hill by a score of 4-1. As a free kick comes for the home team. Putting white jerseys towards the top of the penalty area to receive a cross from this set piece. Richmond Hill play it in towards the keeper, but it's secured by Patricio Hempelman. Well, that last goal from Justin Alexander Santos has really kind of secured things here for North Toronto. Any potential thoughts of a comeback for Richmond Hill have essentially been snuffed out with that 78th minute goal from Santos as Barrow tries to work it into the penalty area, dribbles around Shear, draws back across, and Ursu puffs his chest out to make that stop. Tough game today for Richmond Hill. They were looking good early, and then that long injury break, and they never found their mojo. A Santos win with a great chance. Hempelman, and he finishes it off. One more for good measure. It's 5-1 North Toronto. As we'll see if they call it an own goal or not, but it was Pablo Hempelman who finished it for North Toronto. It was Albion Cadelli, the defender, who tried to slide to keep it out. And it's just a matter of time now, as in the 85th minute, North Toronto make it 5-1. Couple substitutions coming here, one for each team. As Jaden Hanley comes out of the match, and he'll be replaced by Jermaine Stratton-Lee. And for North Toronto, Justin Alexander Santos comes out of the match, and he'll be replaced by Dennis Escobar. So the substitution made as it's actually a double substitution for North Toronto as Tadia Vukas comes out of the match and he's also replaced by Spiros Bekiaris. So Pablo Hempelman gets credit for the fifth goal as North Toronto on the ball once again with Amatario. Chips into the middle for the most recent goal scorer, Hempelman. He plays it out wide for Barrow. He's onside, but a heavy first touch, and that ball goes out for a goal kick. Well, the OPDL represents young players' early graduation to a genuine high-performance training environment, targeting only the top athletes in the province with what is the highest level of competitive youth soccer in Ontario. Unlike other leagues, the OPDL operates more as a high-performance training program than merely as a league. In 2019, 80% of Ontario's male provincial teams were made up of OPDL players. Additionally, 80% of this year's new intake to Toronto FC Academy were directly from the OPDL. So there is no question about it. The OPDL is the path to success for young players in the province of Ontario, and we've seen that on display here this morning in the match between the 2019 Under-17 Boys OPDL League champions North Toronto and Richmond Hill, as North Toronto with a 5-1 lead here in the 88th minute of action, as it's controlled by Delgadillo. He plays the ball ahead for Hempelman, but he's yards offside, and an easy call there for the AR1. As we're going to get substitutions here for both teams, including a change of keepers, as Patricio Hempelman will come out of the match, and he'll be replaced by Daniel Dello. So from the free kick, Richmond Hill with possession as Escobar on the ball for North Toronto. He tries to play it into the middle, but it's controlled by Pledwell. Romig, Pekarov, Kadeli, Stewart. Pekarov leaves it, but it's picked up by Kaza as he plays it ahead, intended for Barrow. It's knocked back to the keeper, Ursu. Kaza has Pablo Hempelman. He uses him. Draws it back out top for Amatario. And he finishes it to make it 6-1. Anthony Aromatrio finishes the play, and North Toronto make it 6-1 in the 90th minute. North Toronto emptying their bench here, getting 3 substitutes up, ready to come into the match. as the referee checks his watch, and the fourth official indicates a minimum of 2 additional minutes of time to be played here. Jalen Drummond coming into the match as one of the 3 substitutes for North Toronto. It's Stewart with the ball for Richmond Hill. Tries to draw it away from the defender. Pledwell with a cheeky touch over to Stewart. He shields it from 2 defenders, including Drummond. Makes the pass. Teeing up a strike, a powerful shot from Henry, but it's off the defender and out for a throw-in. Pledwell plays it back. That one was coming right up to our booth here, and thank goodness for that blocker in the middle. Otherwise, one of us would have had to make an athletic save on that shot. Richmond Hill can't hold possession. Referee checks his watch again. North Toronto bring a substitute to the bench, but it won't matter because the final whistle blows and North Toronto have